What's up, my fellow Trashinaires, and welcome back to another episode of Good Content. And on today's special episode, where we end off Black History Month with a figurative and literal bang, we're going to be covering my favorite Western, The Harder They Fall, which was directed by, I have right here, Jamie Samuel, also known as The Bullets. I have not heard of him prior to watching the movie, nor or even like a couple hours ago, because I wanted to do some research so I could give the proper credits to whoever was in this movie, because I want to support you without actually like supporting myself. I don't want to make myself the standpoint of this video. It's all about the movie and the people who created it. So Jamie's The Bullets Samuel directed this movie. It does seem like he is a musician first. Oh, it looks like he has a few more westerns. I might check those out later. Alright, so I think that's it for what I need to do. But of course, this movie is a western, so it's all about cowboys. And if you know anything about me, I love me a good cowboy. I think it was back in 2021, for Halloween, I dressed up as a cowboy. Nothing specific. I did take a lot of inspiration from, sadly, Clint Eastwood's depictions of cowboys, specifically the Man with No Name trilogy. But people of his kin, Clint Eastwood is a massive racist, so be careful. But besides him, this movie is fantastic. It really is. I can't oversell it at all. Like, when I watched it, I was so surprised about how well it's so well directed. It's crazy. Not that it should have been bad, but still. It's so good. And it's hilarious. It's like a dark comedy at its heart, which I do think is pretty good. But about the movie itself, we follow the main character, Nate Love, who, spoilers, by the way, spoilers, please go watch it. It's on Netflix. I think it's an exclusive, so you can only really watch it there. So, luckily in America, they're not stopping password sharing yet. So, get your friend's password as fast as possible to watch this movie. But so we follow the main character, Nate Love, who, when he was younger, which is literally the first scene, it's a cold open where we see Nate, his father and his mother. His father's a priest, a double father, if you will. And then all of a sudden, a gang of cowboys come by. Apparently, the main one has beef with the father, and that's why he's there, to settle his beef. Which sounds about right for a cowboy. But that's really funny. Sorry. So he settles it by killing, Nate's father and mother. And as we see later in the movie, Nate gets marked with a cross, like a Christian cross. And I didn't really notice this going in the first time, or at least not first in. I may have not been focusing fully, because that's like a thing with me recently. I don't really focus on things from the get-go, because I'm bored all the time now. It's either that or angry. So, anyway, so what's this? Oh, he gets marked with a literal like Christian cross, like a lowercase t, on the middle of his forehead. What I thought that was for at first was like a bullseye, like that's where the main cowboy, who we later know as something Buck. Alright, hold on. More research time. I just rewatched the movie and I'm so upset I can't remember the name. All I know is about the twist. Okay, Rufus Buck. The main antagonist is Rufus Buck. He's not really a villain. Like, he's not actively going out of his way to hurt the main character, who Nate Love is portrayed by Jonathan Majors. So if you know anything about the MCU recently, you would know that Jonathan Majors is now the next big bad, as in Kang the Conqueror. Which, by the way, I'm really excited. That's probably that literally is the only reason I want to see Quantumania. It's for Jonathan Majors. He's so attractive. While Rufus Buck is portrayed by Idris Elba, sexiest man alive. Of course, the Time magazine. But wonderful man. I loved when he played Knuckles in Sonic 2. By the way, I did do that in another video, so go check that out in my movies playlist. But anyway, so those are some of the main characters. There are several more. Which of my favorite character is Cherokee Bill. I do have the cast up over here for like specific characters I know I'm gonna forget the name of. But Cherokee Bill, I will never forget his name. He's really cool. He's played by Lakeith Stanfield. I've seen him around in other movies, and he is just a great actor. He does like strong silent types well. And of course you have I don't have the best vision, but it's still pretty good. Zazie Beetz. Like this, okay. Can I like talk about a second how the entire cast is beyond hot? Jonathan Majors, Zazie Beetz, Idris Elba, Lakeith Stanfield, Regina King. They're all so attractive. Like, they're so good. Of course, some of you may know Zazie Beetz from Deadpool 2. That's probably her most famous portrayal in like mainstream media, because she plays Domino. So you probably know her from there. But anyway, let's get back to the story. So we had a time skip after the cold open, where we see Nate Love who's been tracking down every part of the main gang of Rufus, where I can probably close this now. Where he goes around tracking them and killing the main members of Rufus's gang. And right now he gets to the one who held him down while Rufus carved the cross in his head. So he kills him, and then they move on. Or he moves on. Well, technically they move on. One goes and the other goes out the door. Anyway, we get to another scene. There's technically 3 cold opens if you think about it, which I really love. For someone who is who wants to be a director in the future, I swear to you, I will try and put a cold open in any of my projects. I love cold opens, especially if there's no spoken dialogue. Alright? You can blame Hellboy for that. Alright, so after that, we get to the story starts really going. I mean, the story starts going there because we find out some important information. In the third scene, we have the two of Nat's gang who make up, of course, Nat, ZZD Beats character, Stagecoat Mary. You have Jim. I think the other his friend who's also in the scene. You have Jim and Bill. In this scene, they basically stop a caravan of Rufus's lackeys who just stole from a bank, and they take his money and they kill most of them. Of course, after they kill most of them, they find out from one guy that Rufus is actually going to be freed now because he had a full pardon. He's been basically in solitary confinement for the past, like, I think the time skip was like 20 years, so it's been a while. So now we get to the next scene where Nate rolls into the town where Mary is, who runs a saloon. And then we meet the last main gang member, Cuffy, who's also one of my favorite characters. They are so fun to watch, especially when they kick everyone's ass. But then we see the chemistry or the relationship between Mary and Nate, which is beyond complicated. I don't even understand half of what's going on and what their business is. But what happens next? Okay, so yeah. Jim and Bill, they bring the guy they found out that information from to Nate, and Mary and Cuffy are there. And they all find out that Rufus is going to be freed, and Nate lets him go because, which actually pays off later. Actually, I'm going to tell you what it pays off exactly. Because Nate likes to do this where he likes to relax people, where he says, breathe in. And then he shoots at them. I mean, he only does it twice, and he doesn't hurt them at all, because his name's Love for a reason. He doesn't kill people who don't need to be killed. Even though later on there's a scene where he kind of could have killed a bunch of people who kind of needed, I don't know, whatever, doesn't matter. So now that they know Rufus is going to be freed, we don't really see what they do. They just kind of go back to the saloon and hang out there. Then we get to the next scene where we see Rufus's gang, where his right-hand woman is a woman named Trudy. What a badass. So he's being taken on a train over to Washington, I think? I don't remember. So she stops the train, kills the conductor because he was going to say the N-word to her. And her, Cherokee Bill, and the rest of the gang go on the train, walk all the way, kill a dude because he stood up to them, go kidnap a trainee soldier, a Union soldier. What happens next? Okay, so they go to the part of the train where Rufus is. They're basically like, hey, we got one of your kind. Open the door, let us in, or else he's dead. Also, we find out that the kid, who's also my age, so it's weird that I call him kid, but it makes sense within the story, is actually the son of the main captain. So they let him in after he gets shot twice. Not fatally, of course, but they get let in, they release Rufus, and then Rufus is like, all right, kill all the soldiers, and they do so. Besides the kid. And now Rufus is free, and he goes back to the town he made called Redwood. Turns out he had a companion 20 years ago who he said something happened where he was like, all right, I gotta go. You're in charge now. Don't go crazy. And so he goes, gets arrested. And so the guy is like, oh, all right, he's gone forever. I'm going to take over. So then we pick up back with Nate, where they're at the saloon, and the sheriff comes in, arrests Nate. They get outside of the town radius. The sheriff's like, all right, okay, let's go capture Rufus. And Nate's like, all right, you could have let me go earlier. And he's like, yeah, sure. But of course, Nate's gang understands what was happening, and they come by. They kind of argue for a little, not long, but like they argue. They're like, you can't leave us behind and go after the devil. The sheriff, also, by the way, the sheriff constantly is like, no, I've seen the devil. Actually, that's a pretty funny joke right there, because the sheriff's like, Rufus isn't the devil. I've seen the devil and he's white, which is really funny. Especially with a visual joke later on. We'll get to that soon. So, Nate's gang and the sheriff, which is now just part of Nate's gang, they start going to Redwood to capture Rufus or put him down. Nate wants to kill him because he killed his dad and his mom. The sheriff just wants to capture him again, but he's also fine with killing Rufus. So they go over to Redwood. They find the lackey who was beaten the shit out of by Rufus and is now basically banished from Redwood. He's like, all right, here's what's going on. I'm scared. Please kill him. I'll help you. So they basically settle down for the night. They're getting ready to go in the morning. But Mary's like, okay, all of you, I should go there and scout. If any of you go there, they'll shoot you on sight. If I go there, I'm well known for buying saloons recently because I'm profitable. And they need money. Because that's what they need. There's a whole thing where they're in the town. They're like, the old guy, the old leader, basically was like, all right, I'm allowing anyone to settle down here. I just need money. But nobody settled down or something like that. So they need money. So they basically said, okay, everyone give us all your money, and then we gotta find a way to get more money. And because of that, Mary's like, all right, they need money. I have money. I'll go down there to scout and say I'm here with money, even though I'm not. But Rufus is a bit wiser than that. They lead her on thinking they don't know, but they know. So they just like kidnap her, and by nighttime they're like, all right, leave her out here. If nobody claims her, kill her. But luckily Nate's in time to be like, hey, that's my on and off again ex/girlfriend. I'm here to claim her. But Rufus is like, all right, actually, I'm kidnapping you too. Come here, and your girlfriend's safe. And he's like, okay, all right. And then Jim, actually, because he thinks he's the fastest, but he's also the dumbest. So he tries to challenge Cherokee Bill, or I'm getting my names mixed up. Whatever. He tries to challenge Cherokee Bill to a quick draw, which, of course, he says, no, you're just a kid and you're super stupid. So I'm going to go get a drink. And, of course, Jim is very mad, but the sheriff is like, all right, shut up. You're going to die if you go on with this. Let's go. So then Nate and Mary are told to, okay, if you want Mary to survive, give us the rest of our money, which you also stole from my gang. Remember earlier, the lackeys that had bank money that Jim and Bill stole? Okay, I'm getting a little upset because I can't remember Jim's friend's name. I'm going to feel real stupid when I find it out. Jim, Bill... Sorry, just give me a second. Come on. Yeah, they're both named Bill. Bill Pickett. Yeah, I knew it. Sorry. Where were we? I was right on it. So yeah. Rufus is like, alright, give us back our money, and then some, because you're going to steal from a white town. The bank from a white town. And they're like, oh, okay. And they let Nate go. He goes to the gang, and they're like, and he's like, okay, where's the money you stole from his gang? And we're also going to have to steal from a white town. They say the name, but the other characters just call it a white town, so I will too. Because when they actually go there, it's literally a white town. Like, I laughed out loud. I thought that was so hilarious. I'm pretty sure it's like called Ivory something. Sometimes the names are pretty literal in this story because I haven't mentioned it yet. Oh, no, I have. They use a lot of, like, religious symbolism in this, specifically Christian. Basically, Nate is Jesus, Rufus is Satan, and Nate's father is God. Okay, I basically spoiled it already. I said spoilers. So Nate and Rufus are brothers, and I was rewatching. I actually rewatched it before this so I can make sure I got the story correct. It's very simple. Basically, Nate and Rufus's father raised Rufus Old Testament and Nate New Testament. I thought that was really cool. So that's why Nate is seen as sort of pure, while Rufus is seen as the literal devil. So I thought that was really cool. Of course, there's a few other things when it comes to like religious symbolism. But I don't remember, or I don't really want to talk about it. So they steal from the white town successfully without any murders, which they totally could have done, because when they literally walk into the bank, the bank goes completely silent. No one talks. They only turn around and just look at Nate and Cuffy, who, I'm not exactly what exactly Cuffy is, whether it's a cross-dressing woman or just a nondescript gender. I don't know. So they, them, I guess. So they go in a dress, pretend to be Nate's wife, and they're like, okay, we're making a withdrawal. Stick them up, except down in a bag. So they steal from the bank successfully. They could have totally killed all of them, but hey, that's still heavy on your conscience, especially for Nate. He only really kills criminals. My eye. So yeah, they steal the bank money. They have it, and now they're like, oh, we now have leverage. We have what Rufus wants. and they set up a distraction by making them think that the sheriff has the money and his cart, his like arresting cart trailer thing. They make him think, oh, there's the money. All right, let the sheriff talk to Rufus. And then Bill Pickett shoots it because it has a bunch of dynamite in it. And I don't think there's no money in it. So he just shoots it, blows it up. That's a big distraction. Nate comes in. Everyone comes in. I mean, Cuffy has the money and actually money. It also has dynamite in it. So now we're at like a standoff where they're kind of like sort of making quiet negotiations. And so they're talking, but then suddenly Cherokee Bill points his gun at Nate, and he's like, well, he's turned around, and Nate's like, really? In the back? And then Jim is behind Cherokee Bill with his gun aimed at him, and this is where the fight starts, where Cherokee Bill and Jim they finally have their quick draw. But I also didn't notice this the first time. Jim breaks the draw rules. You're supposed to have your gun in your holster the entire time until the draw moment. Also, he breaks a personal rule of Cherokee Bill where he actually likes counting down. But Jim counts down too slow while having his gun out and reloading it with a specific pistol bullet with, I think, Cherokee Bill's name on it or something like that. And then he like rotates the cylinders, cocks it, and is like 5, 4, 3, and then just Cherokee Bill shoots him in the face on 3. This shocks everyone, but to me it makes complete sense. One, it broke sort of Cherokee Bill's like one of his like ideals. He likes counting down. Just count down. No need to go so slow during a quick draw. And 2, don't have your gun out. It's a quick draw. You're supposed to draw your gun out as fast as you can. And that's what he wanted. That's what Jim wanted. He wanted to be like, oh, I'm the fastest. I'll show you, Cherokee Bill. But no, he wanted to be showy. And that's literally said throughout the movie, is that if you're too showy, you're gonna die. And he never listened because he was like, I'm the fastest. Pow! Like, you're not Ocelot Revolver or whatever. It's been a while since I've said his name. So yeah, Jim's dead now, and then the fight happens, and it's bang, 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 shoot, 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 pow, 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 punch, 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 punch. Because Mary and Trudy get in a fist fight, because they fist fight with like guns, but they don't shoot in a knife, and then pow, 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 and Mary wins. There's more shooting, and pow, 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 pow. More shooting, more powing, mouth, pow, 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 pow. What's going on? Bill Pickett, he's the sniper, he's the sharpshooter. He's on the roof. He gets shot in the shoulder. Goes down the saloon into the saloon in town in Redwood. He's like recovering and whatever. Cuffy goes in. Everyone's almost dead by now, or at least everyone who aren't the main gang or Jim. They're in there. Cuffy comes in. They talk. They banter a bit. Bill finds out he has a lucky coin, by the way. Finds out his lucky coin actually had a bullet in it, and he's like, "Damn." And then he literally gets shot in the back by Cherokee Bill. Also, by the way, he actually is native. I do think he does speak in a native language, though he does not really look it, but that doesn't really matter. He's still native, so his name is accurate. So Bill shoots Bill, and now Bill is dead, and Cuffy's like, how fucking dare you? I'll show you in a quick draw. So she's like, all right, come on, I'll show you faster. And Bill's like, all right. And they go into a zoom in on a close up, and they just show, and Cuffy wins. Cuffy shoots him right in the neck, and so he's like, he understands what happens. He knows he's gonna die, so he goes out in honor. He holds on to his wound. He wants to go outside. He goes out. He understands, all right, now's enough. Let's go. And he's dead. Which, upsetting, but all right. It makes sense. Comeuppance for comeuppance. So yeah. So now, all we have left is Mary, Cuffy, the sheriff, and Nate and Rufus. So basically, it's just the end game now. Also, the backstabber, ex-ruler, basically, he blows up the building Rufus is in. It's not enough to actually blow it up, but it blew up the living room. Or at least he blew it up with one stick of dynamite to just kill some people. And then he has the bag with him. Rufus comes down the stairs. They exchange a couple words, and then Rufus blows up the bag, killing the guy. So now it's fine. It's finally time for the final standoff between Rufus and Nate, who previously got shot in the shoulder. But it was by that guy who he let go, who got the information that Rufus was going to be let out. He literally says after he shot him on his horse in his mask, you don't see it's him. He has his mask on, but it's definitely him. He says, breathe in. And then he gets shot in the head by the sheriff. But, alright, now it's time. So, Rufus and Nate finally see each other. Rufus is like, you know why I left that mark on you? And Nate's like, so I remember you. But no. Rufus is like, he's like, no, it's so I remember you. Because my father, he has basically a whole a Joker moment where he's like, my father was a drinker. He was an evil man. He beat my mother senselessly. But then he disappeared. And then I found him. Turns out he became a priest, and a new wife, and a 10-year-old son. Of course, I killed my father and that bitch. And then I found you. So yeah, he basically just says, yeah, I'm your brother. I killed our father. What are you gonna do about it? Because he couldn't Rufus couldn't kill him. So couldn't kill him when he was like 10. So he's like, all right, you have the choice now. You're basically like our father before he changed. So what are you gonna do? You gonna kill me? You're gonna kill your brother? You're a buck now. I want you to know that. You're a buck. Nate Buck. What are you gonna do? You gonna shoot me? Come on, do it. Do it. Do it. He basically has like another Joker moment. He has like a whole Joker arc right now. He's like, do it. Do it. Hit me. Hit me. And they're both tearing up. They're bawling their eyes out. And Nate just like turns around. He subtly puts his gun towards his waist. On his waist. Towards Rufus's waist. And he just shoots him. And Nate's still freaking out, realizing, oh, we're related. That was our father. But I'm still mad at you. So I'm going to kill you anyway. So Rufus is like, come on. kill me. And then Nate just goes to town on him. He finally snaps. He's like, oh, bow, 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 bow. Until he realizes, oh, I have no more bullets. And he's dead. So, whatever. And yeah, that's it. That's the end of the story. But it's not the end of the movie. Because we get like an epilogue where we see that they actually buried Rufus's body along with Bill, not Cherokee Bill, but Bill Pickett and Jim. They buried them all with crosses and such. The sheriff was like, all right, I'm going to go on my own now. You have fun. To Nate and Mary, where they're like, oh, all right, we actually have a relationship now, so we're going to ride off to the sun. Where we actually see, I don't know why or who it was, but we see a figure in pure black just walk up to the camera. We only see him from like the lower back down to like his thighs. And he pulls back his jacket, I think, and he holds onto his gun. And the movie ends there. There's nothing else. We just see a figure in black pull up, and he just stands there. Or they stand there. It could be anyone. And I have no idea what to think about it. Of course, I would love a sequel to this. Because if this movie is so good, I would love a sequel. And I wonder what they're going to do with the figure. Of course, that is the end of the movie. You gotta watch it for yourself. I haven't done it any justice. Of course, I just spoiled it all for you. But, of course, that's not going to ruin everything like most other movies. There's so much more within the movie itself. There's so many little details here and there and everywhere. And that you can just miss them all in the first watch. So you gotta watch it like multiple times to truly understand it. So, yeah, that's it. The direction is fantastic. It is beyond perfect. It's not even perfect. It transcends that into being like this like true spectacle. Of course, not to use another phrase from a neo-western. I think that's what they call Nope. I do think I've covered Nope on here, but I can't remember. But besides the fact that I forgot what I said, but these two movies are not the same. So yeah, the directing is fantastic. The humor is hilarious. The costuming is timely yet modern. And the acting is fantastic. Everyone gives it 10 out of 10. So that's all I kind of have to say. It is fantastic. Please go watch it. But besides that, I have nothing else to say. Hope you all had a happy, or hope you guys had a good Black History Month. But besides that, you probably might have noticed a few things changed. I cut my hair too shorter than I wanted. You probably can't tell because the hair's finally mellowed out, so it doesn't look as short as it did a week ago. I did it last Sunday. And new setup. I rearranged my room. Actually, directly behind my phone and the ring light is where I used to film. You're still in my bed, so think of that as you will. But now, this is what it's going to look like. Of course, it's going to be a pain because, like, literally right here, like, right there, that's my TV. So, it's going to be a pain to set this up now. Because I got to make sure that's not in frame. I don't want you guys to see that. Unless it's, like, important to the shot or the video. But, anyway, this video is long enough. It's going to be short, 40 minutes, even though right now it looks like 40 minutes. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a nice rest of Black History Month, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.